Hi, I'm Graham, and this is Man v Film, and we're going to finish off our Fast and the Furious franchise recap with the brand new entry to that, the Fast and the Furious 7.
Man versus film.
After the events of London and the capture of Shaw, the gang have split and went back to their home country of America with clean records. Brian and Mia are trying to settle into a family life, and Brian's struggling a little bit with it. Dominic is still struggling to help Letty recover her memories and remember who she is and the relationship that they had. Hobbs is needing a challenge. He's fed up chasing down the same old easy captures that he's had. He wants the thrill of the hunt, and he's itching for something a bit more. Then we have Deckard Shaw, the brother of Luke Evans' character Shaw in the previous movie, and he is out for revenge for the people that paralysed and put his brother in a coma. Pretty soon, the gang find themselves being hunted down by this assassin who will stop at nothing to get his vengeance that he desires. There's also a side plot where they have to go and get a device so that they can turn the tables on Shaw and finally chase him down and get to him before he can get to any more of their crew. Justin Lin's gone, and directing this time is James Wan, the current master of horror. He has directed such movies as the original Saw, he did The Conjuring, he did Insidious 1 and 2, and he'll be returning for The Conjuring 2 as well, and this is his first foray into real action. He did do something a little bit similar with Death Sentence, but it wasn't as big. Straight off the bat, the opening scene with Statham is absolutely fantastic. He's talking to his brother as he's lying in a bed. Just, he's saying the things to his brother that he's going to do. And it's when he turns to leave the hospital that you realise what has happened. The place is in complete disarray. People are cowering for their safety. This was a heavily armed building, and this man has just destroyed the full thing, and it is one hell of an intro to just how badass Jason Statham is. Then we kind of jump straight into the melodrama of Dom and Letty, something that really just drags the plot down and something that I personally am not that interested in. It drags on a bit more and it is very soap opera-esque. The Fast and Furious is a series based on fast cars, action, and that's pretty much all it is, and that's all it's required to be. Try to add in this other story just kind of bogs it down and slows the pace of it, make it a bit more languid of a movie. Paul Walker's death and his absence from the rest of the filming echoes throughout this movie. In places he's quite strong, and in the rest of the movie he's kind of sidelined. He's missing for large chunks, or he's pushed to the edge of frames. He's in the background, you never quite see him. It's not to really say that the movie isn't about Paul Walker's character, because it is, because his absence and death is all throughout this movie. The rest of the cast return, the ones that we know, Tej and Roman and Letty, they're all there. They're given a bit less to do. Roman has turned into a caricature of the person that he once was. Gone is that threatening nature of him in the fast driving. Now he's just comedy relief. Tej is brought in. He's got some good one-liners, actually better than Roman's, but he's basically just there for a little bit of exposition to do minor things. He's not as involved as what he once was in the movies, and that's a bit of a shame, because the reason that Fast 5 worked so well is because it was a team movie and it wasn't dependent on one character. It was based on a group of characters, and that was that ethos that really came through in the movie. Natalie Emmanuel joins the cast as Ramsey, a hacker in the movie, and she joins the crew pretty quickly. She's a very trustworthy hacker, to be fair, but she's got the same skill set as Tej, so you're kind of like, why have both of them? I remember back to the days when Kurt Russell was an absolute fantastic character. He was in The Thing, he was in Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, these great action movies, and I'm really happy to see him back in this. And he's got a cool scene where he's got these shades that turn into night vision glasses, and he's just laying folk out with these two handguns, and it's great to see him back in the action. Back to Jason Statham, one of the real strong points of the movie, and he seems to be in a different movie than everybody else. He's almost like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. He's the unstoppable stalking killer that just cannot be put down. He appears in scenes out of nowhere just to cause complete havoc and try and kill one of the gang. In fact, in one scene where they're trying to hijack this bus, the only way they can get to it is by parachuting the cars out of a plane and getting to the road, because there's like roadblocks and armed militia like a mile either side of the bus. So they have to go through this extravagant way of getting in to get to the bus, and just as you get to it, out of nowhere pops Deckard in a car, and you're like, well, how the hell did he get there if it was so ridiculous that they had to parachute in? When you start picking about the movie, it's quite easily done. Other thing about Deckard's character, the only other Deckard I can think of in cinematic history is Harrison Ford's character in Blade Runner, the person that hunted down replicants who thought they were human but they were really unstoppable monsters when they wanted to be. And that's kind of a parallel to what he is. One of the side plots that really annoyed me and kind of sort of like, I didn't fully buy into it, was the idea of the God's Eye. The God's Eye is a device that logs into all cameras, cell phones, street CCTV, anything like that, anything where there's cameras or mics and it can track a single person. We've seen this done before. It was done in The Dark Knight, and this is just a sort of upgraded version of it. But they actually break the movie in half because they leave at one point to try and get this device so they can find Shaw. The only problem is Shaw is round every corner, literally. He is appearing non-stop to try and kill them, so why they try to get away from him to get this device to find out where he is, it seems rather redundant. James Wan handles himself very well. The action set pieces are really well staged, and you can actually tell what is happening. You know, the geography of the action shots are really well thought out, and you know exactly what's going on when and where everybody is in that moment, and that's quite a feat to do considering there's a lot of things going on in certain action pieces. He adds a little bit of thing to the fight sequences as well by locking on the cameras, so when a body goes up in the air and then comes down, the camera goes with them. I've seen this done before in the Raid, but he also makes sure to spend enough time on the gyrating hips and the fast cars and the revving engines. You know, the things that the series is known for, he makes sure to pay enough attention to that to keep the fans happy. The final action scene is absolutely immense, and it's ridiculous at the same point. You know, you've got this drone that's terrorising Los Angeles, shooting all kinds of things, destroying complete car parking blocks. It's mayhem going on. You've got The Rock with a chain machine gun in the middle of a high street shooting things. It's ridiculous. It's over the top, and it is glorious to see. It's absolutely awesome. It's a brilliant action scene. The action in the movie is really well done, and it's really exciting. The final cut-off leads a fitting tribute to Paul Walker, and it treads a fine line, and it manages to do it perfectly. It almost gets to a point where it almost very closely breaks the fourth wall, but they manage to reel it back in, and it's a great ending to the movie, and it's a good farewell to Paul Walker. Overall, The Fast and Furious is a good blockbuster. It's a good start to the blockbuster season. It's got some great action sequences, but it gets bogged down a little bit too much with some of the melodrama, which is not that interesting. It just doesn't feel as good as parts 5 and 6. Hopefully, if the series does continue, they'll get back to the group ethos again and not try and rest the movie on one person's shoulders. They need to get Hobbs into the movie more because he's a genuine threat. I'm going to give Fast and the Furious 4 out of 5. It is an enjoyable movie. In fact, I'm going back to see it again tonight because I want to just take a bit more of it in. It'll be interesting to see if it continues, and if it does, where it continues. I doubt they're ever going to get back to the highs of Fast 5, but that movie was lightning in the bottle, like I said in my review. I will be keeping an eye on this series, and I'm looking forward to if they do any more. So if you like this video and you want to see more of my videos, make sure and click the subscribe annotation. I will pop up somewhere around about here, and I will see you next time on Man v Film.